Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback. I think the greatest gift a leader can have is understanding his or her own employees. How do we really understand what people can do, what they can't do, what they're confident in, where they have fears, trepidations, where they want to go with their careers, where they want to engage with the rest of the team, what they're motivated by, what they're not motivated by, what they like, what they dislike, what they love? It's really twofold. It's the greatest thing leaders can do. And that is to ask questions and listen. Not just listen to respond, but really listen. And even paraphrase back what they said so we have true, deep understanding. Now, when I've actually shared this very simple notion, I'll have a leader typically counter me and say, well, I'm the type of leader, and they start telling me about, how they execute strategy, and I have the mission of the organization in the palm of my hands, and I have to have people that follow me and do what I say. And I always look at them and say, so if that's your mantra, how do you know they're following you mentally? And recently I just had this happen, and the guy looked at me and said, excuse me? I said, how do you know they're following you? He said, I just told you I'm the type of person. I said, I didn't ask about you. I asked you, how do you know your people aren't just going through the motions, aren't begrudgingly, but are truly following you and enjoying it? And if you can't answer that question, you've made a huge assumption. Doesn't mean you're wrong. Doesn't mean the way you're leading and executing is wrong. See, I always use this as a question. And one of my favorite people, I won't mention by name or company, that I meet with, and we meet in some odd hours early morning, and I love working with this guy. And I remember saying to him, you're going up a hill, and leaders typically have to go up hills in front of their people, executing strategy, change, implementations, all these things that leaders face. And I said, when you go up that hill, do you ever turn around, look over your shoulder, and see if people are following you? And if they're smiling? And if you can't answer that now, ask yourself, what if they were? What would the benefit be to your leadership acceptance? I'll never forget it. He paused, he thought, and he has been one of the best leaders from that day that I've seen care and invest in culture. What does Drucker always say? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Strategy is not a bad thing. Strategy with happy, following, smiling people is really powerful. So when we talk about coaching application, questions is really where it starts. And here's the great thing about questions. Questions drive self-awareness. Questions drive self-awareness. Think about that. Questions drive self-awareness. If I go up to someone and say, Bob, you're a jerk. Lisa, you're so hard to work with. Are both those people going to hug and kiss me and say, wow, thanks for the revelation? No, they're going to push back. Versus saying, Bob, what are you going to do to energetically work with that teammate, and what's the benefit to you? That will trigger a different thought process than being told what to do. Now, the flip side of the coin, sometimes as leaders, we have to tell people what to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I always encourage people who are what I call tellers. If you're going to tell somebody what to do, follow it up with a question. I need you to complete this project by Friday. Then follow it up with hearing that. What are you going to do to successfully pursue that? And what assistance do you need to reach that ultimate success? See, when you give a directive, there's nothing wrong with that. Follow it up with a question. It creates greater ownership and accountability. If you want to become a great leader, understand the value and understand the practice associated with becoming a great application specialist when it comes to asking questions situationally. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21 day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.